Feels like pouring rain, holding up this weight. This weight might break. This weight might break me. I stopped answering calls. Had to get more involved with finding myself. I'm two hands away from flowers at my funeral. Here lies the main. I'm two hands away from eulogies, but I don't wanna die today. It was said he's too young to be a martyr. Never got the chance to live free of the trauma. Never trusted him unless it was his father. Hope it's true what they said about karma. Cause I'm a degenerate and my meds don't work. I'm always skipping school cause Jack is on my shirt. I act up cause my liver only keeps getting so worse. And I act up cause all my friends keep taking rides in a hearse. So fuck church, I'm hurt, that burnt, need more paranoid. Don't lose faith in me, boy, I'm annoyed. I avoid and I'm sorry that I toyed with your heart. We apart, now I'm hurt and that burnt. I need more, give me more or I'll die. I'm afraid I won't survive and I tried, fuck I tried. Now I'm lying on the street, need a ride to get high. I can't stand being me, need a ride to get high. I can't stand being me. Fuck. Persisting feels like pouring rain. Why must you persist? Oh, heaviness feels like pouring rain. Holding up this weight might break. This weight might break.
Look, I create to distract myself from the fact that when I look at myself, I avoid eye contact. I feel like I overact, worried to death of the traits that I lack. Get rid of these flashbacks. I didn't ask to go back. Stand back and look back at all of my setbacks. So many times I have turned back to kick that, grabbed onto my drawbacks and come back to cut back. But how can a sats act like me cut back when I keep all of my drawbacks in my backpack? Like a bunch of fucking useless knick-knacks. I'm sure I'll bounce back. But for now, guess I'll just hang back. I feel this icy. Eyes heavy and cold. It's like heads breaking up in valves. With finding myself too high to it's like pouring rain. Holding up this weight. This weight might break. This weight might break me. But I don't wanna die today. Never got the chance to live free of the trauma. He's too young to be a martyr. Never got the chance to live free of the trauma.
Join me for an adventure, oh, much like any other, with twists and turns and plot devices, words and wonder. Now my advice is listen close. this story different is the teller and the toll. This one's ours and it's waiting to unfold. So come be merry with me. Yeah. Oh, come be merry with me. Come on, be merry with me. Join me for an adventure, oh, much like any other, with twists and turns and plot devices, words and wonder. Now my advice is listen close. What makes this story different is the teller and the told. This one's ours and it's waiting to unfold. Well, that was nice. Welcome everybody to merrymitch. I'm quite excited. We have chapters 19 and 20 tonight, or this evening. Dancing Snoopy. I'm sorry, you gotta stop dancing. Go back to reading. Yeah, I've implemented a dancing Snoop. This is a very important thing to me. No, I actually did find out that there's like I'm gonna start having various Snoopy reactions on tap so that I can filter through them whenever they're appropriate. So during like the songs, if I'm on screen, I'll put in some Snoop dancing or some Snoop jamming. There's also a bunch of others that I've come across that I'm going to be implementing here in the next few streams. I'm also immensely excited for tomorrow and Saturday. I think you may be a little pleasantly surprised as to what I've had in the works. Hey, what's up, Coleman? I was just chatting a little bit about how I have some new Snoopy reactions. See, I can have him dancing. The only one that I've put in there so far is the jammin' one, but I've come across a bunch of other like Snoopy, very Snoopy gifs that I'll be throwing in there to like, you know, be able to switch around and bring up whenever it's appropriate. I figured, you know, we came across this this little issue where, you know, whenever I talk to him or say, hey Snoopy, he's just doing the same thing. He doesn't even seem to be paying attention. So I'm gonna have a few other ones on tap so that Snoopy can react a little bit. So that's exciting. I also just went over how I'm super excited about tomorrow and Saturday because I've been having some stuff in the works that I think you guys will enjoy. I know I'm certainly hyped for it. And you will see tomorrow if you come to the 9 o'clock stream and Saturday. Alright, so we're gonna jump into a little bit of Ori and the Blind Forest before we get to our chapters 19 and 20. Right on. How you doing, Coleman? How you feeling? Get this a little more dead on. There we are. Sweetness. Nice, man. Just I. Yeah, not much happening. Well, very nice. Alright, we'll jump on over to the gaming camera. Pause the music. And jump into some Ori. Definitive Edition. Alright, let me grab my controller. My controller. Controller. Oh god, dude. Look at this cord. For some reason, the Nintendo Pro Controller cord just loves to twist itself up. It just loves to get twisty, you know? Alright. Remember last we left off, we were in the Goober's territory, or his lair. Dude, having that little slurp, the slurp powers is very nice. I like being able to slurp up the orbs from afar. It's a silly straw, dude. I know. If only it were that good. You know, if it was as pleasant as a silly straw, that would be a very good thing. But I would say it doesn't quite have the charm that that a silly straw has. We also got a double jump last time, which I'm actually quite excited for. Oh goodness. Okay, I think I get what's going on here. Yeah. Yeah. Alright, alright. Go, go, go. Oh, ooh, yeah. Alright, let's see, am I headed the right way? Oh, I'm probably heading the right way for the boss fight, but I want to... Oh, I want to explore first. Hey, who else we got in the chat? How we doing, guys? Oh, I can get this. Yeah! Oh, yeah. Or you still don't know how to swim. Maybe one day, Ori. I think you can do it, buddy. I guess his mom never taught him how to swim. To be fair, I'm not sure she knew how to either. Oh, God. Oh, dude, that was sweet. A little more challenging than I figured I'd run into. But it's no match for me. Ha-hee-ha. Oh, so I am heading the right way for the goober. Okay, should I go back to explore a little bit more? Or do we go straight for the goober? I don't know. I'm tempted. Tempted either way. I do know in the last area we got kind of trapped down here. So I'm assuming we'll be able to go back up there though to explore. And I feel the same about this area too. I'm ready. I'm just ready to go and get this boy. Ay. Oh. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Hell yeah. Oh yeah. That man just exploded? Did I do that? What's with all these bats? Is this where Ori becomes the Batman? It's too bad Ori isn't scared of nothing. Not even bats. Oh god. Okay. I'm just gonna go for it. Whew, okay. This strategy's working. Don't know if that's actually how I'm meant to do it, but... Oh. Aha. I still don't know what these things are. Why am I blowing them up? Does anybody know? What are those big blue plants? Dang. That was a leap of the gods, if I do say so myself. Okay, so we're above now where we started. Yoop. Gif crystal. The double jump is so nice, guys. Oh, excuse me? Oh, poor guy. Oh, okay. Hey. Ah. Okay. No fear. Oh, okay. And the music got intense. Yee! Ah! Ay! Eee. Not doing so hot, guys. Oh, ooh. I did not see that rock coming. Hey. Bless. Ah, okay. Ay. Can I get on top of this, please? Thank you. Alright, not bad. What's up, little fella? Or big fella. Big fella. Oh, he goes, yo! Get back here, man. We can be friends. Or he brought kindness and hope to his heart. Aw, he left it for me. Too bad I don't want it. I already got another crystal. Nah, I'm just kidding. I want it. You have recovered the water vein. This ancient gemstone will grant you entrance to the Ginso tree. Hell yeah. Remember, the element of waters rests high atop the Ginso tree. We shall bring back the waters. Let us return immediately. Yeah, immediately, for sure. I'll be, yeah. I'm gonna go there right now. I definitely will do that and won't go down there to explore. See, I'm going straight there. Straight there. I'm not going straight there. Don't tell him. Don't tell the light guy. I'm disobeying orders. Let's see, can I get across there? Do I need to? Nah, I think I need to go this way. Hey. Come on. Ah, no. Man, I just did all that, and suddenly I can't even do this. Oh, yes. Alright, back to it. Yeah, no, I was right. Cannot do that. Or I can probably... Yeah. Oh, what the... What? This was just here? Don't mind if I do. Thank you. Alright, I'll save right here. I have 2 ability points. I can get Ultra Light Burst, which leads into Cinder Flame. That's the one I really want. But I also like this ability tree. I mean, ultra defense? Come on. Excuse me? Triple jump? Requires triple jump. Yeah. Oh wait, you get triple jump right there. You're correct, Pieraz. Thanks for joining. Doing a little Ori. Before I get into the reading, we got chapters 19 and 20 tonight. Yeah, no, you're right. You'd be right here. Yeah, I want that triple jump. I was kind of all about just getting max damage, but I think, I mean, if I'm not mistaken, the game is primarily more platforming than bosses, right? And it's meant to be a peaceful game. We got to bring hope and harmony to the forest. Yeah, no, you're right. I'm already pretty plenty powerful. Oh, there are hidden areas? What? What? Okay, I'll go get these. Ah, I'm one away from the air dash. Okay. I'll save up for that. Unless, can I get that? Yeah, I just need the ability point. Cool beans. Oh. I have stumbled across a ledge. What difficulty am I playing? Normal. Yeah. Oh, stumbled on a few of them myself. Ah. Dude, there's a lot of just little ledges here. I actually really dig this frame. You can see little Ori through the vines. The backdrop of the waterfall. And some nice stuff. Alright, onward. Gonna go. Oh, wait. No, don't need to be in here. I need down here. Yeah. Spider. Get out of here, spider. We are no Spider-Man nor Batman. We are simply little Ori. I was a scaredy cat, so I tried easy, but the bosses die immediately. Oh, no worries. Don't worry about the typing. I can translate. Yeah, I don't doubt it. Honestly, I was tempted to go easy myself. But I think I tend to want to at least try the normal setting to start off, because I feel the game developers, you know, they expect most people to play on normal, right? That's kind of what I imagine that's what they feel most players would do. I just realized this. Ori affects the little spider webs in the background. Look at that. Bloop, 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 bloop. Yeah, the intended difficulty. I may raise it. It's been somewhat easy so far, but I've had some struggles though. I was expecting that big lanky dude to be a boss fight, but oh, are you saying dude what to the spider webs? Look at that. Alright, now it's time to go this way. No fear. No fear. I should have feared. Oh no. Oh man. Well. Back down we go. Oh man, I made it here way quicker than I expected. Yeah, for real. I mean, I've definitely been impressed. This game is pretty Is it detailed? I think one thing that that surprised me the most about this game was how the gentle and soft aesthetic that it gives off makes the points in it where it wants it to be scary or at the very least unsettling. It brings it so much more weight when suddenly in this soft and pretty game, out of nowhere comes like this intense, like terrifying slamming frog guy or you know a spooky looking spider cave or something. I mean, even that spider over there, like, look at what's around it. It sticks out so poignantly. Very spoopy. Alright, do I go up or to the left? I'm gonna go this way. I want the health. Yeah. Hey, whoo. Hey. Dang, dude. I feel like I destroy these guys too quickly. And I kind of feel bad afterwards. Oh, yo, Thick and Pie, do you guys know what the heck these are? What in the world these big blue rock plants are? Do they just hold like some soul in them? They give you blue stuff? Okay. 'Cause I've been trying, because when I explode them, I think I'm normally on top of them, so I don't often see like what the heck they give you. So I'd been confused about that for a little bit. Do I need to push this off the edge? I think that's the idea I'm getting. Go. Aha. Thank you. Uh-oh. Now hang on. Now wait a second. What am I meant to do here? I can do a backflip. Hooah! Yahee! Wahoo! Ooh. How do I get in there? I want those things. I really am not sure about this. Oh, do I need, oh, I think I have enough for that. Ay. Come on. No. Oh, come on. I made it on that one. Yeah. Is there an easier way to do this? Oh, yeah. It definitely is. I wanted to do it the cool guy way. Okay, so I'm imagining... I think I have enough... Oh, I need more blue stuff! Where is the blue stuff? Oh man. Okay, I think I can do this. Huh, whew. Whew. Very nice. Oh, I can get the thing now. But I gotta get out of here alive. Oh, yeah. That was easy enough. I need more blue. The big blue plant didn't give me enough blue. I think there's some more over here, right? Yeah, there's a little blue crystal. Will that be enough? Come on, come on. Yeah! Yee! Yeah! Just enough. Let's go. Plop that down there. Oh man, I'm gonna have to go around. I pushed it up to the... Pushed it right up to the edge there. My bad. I need more health. Alright, now I shove this guy down here. Oh yeah. Oh, I can't get it in there though. Alright, let's see what time is it? It's 6:37. I think I may start to transfer things over to the reading portion. But we made some solid progress. Before I... Oh. I do not have a soul link ready. Well, looks like we're playing a smidge longer. Alright, no fear. Hoo-ha, hoo-ah, hee-ho-ah. Or maybe some fear, but courage in the face of that fear. Okay. I can just turn that off, huh? That means I'll shove this guy down here. Ah, yeah. I like this puzzle. Heck. Come on. Oh wait, I'm probably gonna want to shove this way. There we go. Ooh. Ooh yeah. Energy cell. And a giant spirit light container. Giant one. Were the other ones not as giant? How does Ori absorb those? Does he just like slurp them into himself, or does he stick it in his ears? Does it just kind of like dissipate? Are the orbs just like made out of only light? Or are they like gel? Or jello? I like to think they're like jello, and he just holds them up, just slurps them up. Alright. Oh. This is an unsafe zone. What about here? What? Still an unsafe zone. What do you mean? Is it because of this goober here? Alright, goober gone. Nice. Ooh, and I can get the air dash. Now how do I air dash? Do you guys know how to air dash? Help. What is air jump? Or air dash? Spirit flame. Ah, okay. What? It's meant to be... It's meant to be that button, right? Yeah. I'm hitting it, but no dash. What's the deal? What's the dealio? Come on, I paid good ability points for this. Well, I am unsure. But regardless, we made peace with the goober. I went and got myself some pretty looking orbs, and Ori is as adorable as ever. So, I think with that, I'll leave off. Hopefully next time. Hey, dash ought to be in here, right? I'm not sure. I may have to Google it. Goggle it. Okay. Oh, nice. Actually, didn't realize the stats are up here. Okay, I played for about 2.5 hours. 26 deaths. Not super proud of that, but hey. Or no, I am proud of that. Heck. Each time I died, I learned. 3 life doodads, 5 soul doodads. Or no, 2 soul doodads. 5 blue doodads. I really only got 2 of those, the soul doodads? Well. Alright. Like I said, there may be some backtracking and some more exploring and whatnot. Alright. Let me set my controller to the wayside. Switch up the camera. And let's get into some reading. Alright. So I'll put on some jams for the recap. Oh yeah, I'm liking that. So, last we left off in Percy Jackson. Percy Jackson. The Lightning Thief. There was an encounter with a chap called... I'm trying to remember. Oh, yeah. How could I forget? A chap named Krusty. I think his full name was like Crustesius, something along those lines. But regardless, he owned a waterbed store. They ran into his little shop in an effort to escape some goons on the street that were assailing them. They did get away from those goons, but they ran right into another with dear old Krusty. Because he showed them the waterbeds, invited them to try him out, but very soon, Procrustius. Yeah, something like that, man. Procrastination. Procrastination. But yes, he invited them onto the waterbeds. Grover quickly obliged, Annabeth soon to follow, but after saying ergo and snapping his fingers, they were suddenly trapped by said beds. Strings and binds latching around them and holding them down to the waterbeds. Percy had to think quickly. Thankfully he did. He smooth talked his way out of it, and wound up being able to convince dear old Krusty that to try out one of the beds himself, because surely this bed couldn't fit a man of his size. But just to prove his point, Krusty had to lay on the bed and go and get trapped himself. Then Percy slayed him without a second thought. Sent him back to the underworld, where they would soon be going. Or Tartarus? Monsters go to Tartarus, right? After that, they wound up finding, in Krusty's effects, the address of the actual place they were looking for. The, what was it? The studio? The AMC studio or something? Anyways, the gates to the underworld. They wound up finding it, and there was one attendant. His name was Chiron, not Chiron. And Chiron was quick to figure out that they were half-bloods and not actually just dead kids. But after a little bit of bribery, to put it bluntly, Chiron accepted willingly, in hopes to get himself a new suit or something like that, and yeah, moved them right along in the next shipment of dead people. The boat, or the elevator that they stepped into soon enough shifted its form into a boat, and they were on the Styx, heading to the true gates into the underworld. They met a certain little pup, or rather big pup, at the gates, who Annabeth managed to befriend. Dear Cerberus, I believe he's called. And by befriending him, they were able to sneak under his legs, his very beefy legs, and make their way into the underworld, with alarms blaring and ghost cops trying to find him. They now find themselves in the underworld with but a day, I believe, until their deadline, the summer solstice. So, let's find out what happens, shall we? Will they make the deadline? Will they even get out of the underworld with their lives? Let's find out. Alright, we'll pause the music and get on into the reading. This is Percy Jackson, the Lightning Thief, by Rick Riordan. We find out the truth. Sort of. Imagine the largest concert crowd you've ever seen. A football field packed with 1 million fans. Now imagine a field 1 million times that big, packed with people. And imagine the electricity has gone out. There's no noise, no light, no beach ball bouncing around over the crowd. Something tragic has happened backstage. Whispering masses of people are just milling around in the shadows, waiting for a concert that will never start. If you can picture that, you have a pretty good idea of what the fields of Asphodel looked like. The black grass had been trampled by eons of dead feet. A warm, moist wind blew like the breath of a swamp. Black trees. Grover told me they were poplars. Grew in clumps here and there. The cavern ceiling was so high above us, it might have been a bank of storm clouds, except for the stalactites, which glowed faint gray and looked wickedly pointed. I tried not to imagine they'd fall on us at any moment, but dotted around the fields were several that had fallen and impaled themselves in the black grass. I guess the dead didn't have to worry about little hazards like being speared by stalactites the size of booster rockets. Annabeth, Grover, and I tried to blend into the crowd, keeping an eye out for security ghouls. I couldn't help looking for familiar faces among the spirits of Asphodel, but the dead are hard to look at. Their faces shimmer. They all look slightly angry or confused. They will come up to you and speak, but their voices sound like chatter, like bats twittering. Once they realize you can't understand them, they frown and move away. The dead aren't scary. They're just sad. We crept along, following the line of new arrivals that snaked from the main gates toward the black-tented pavilion with a banner that read, "Judgments for Elysium and eternal damnation. Welcome, newly deceased." Out the back of the tent came 2 much smaller lines. To the left, spirits flanked by security ghouls were marched down a rocky path toward the fields of punishment, which glowed and smoked in the distance, a vast, cracked wasteland with rivers of lava and minefields and miles of barbed wire separating the different torture areas. Even from far away, I could see people being chased by hellhounds, burned at the stake, forced to run naked through cactus patches, or listen to opera music. I could just make out a tiny hill with the ant-sized figure of Sisyphus struggling to move his boulder to the top. And I saw worse tortures, too. Things I would rather not describe. The line coming from the right side of the Judgment Pavilion was much better. This one led down toward a small valley surrounded by walls, a gated community which seemed to be the only happy part of the underworld. Beyond the security gate were neighborhoods of beautiful houses from every time period in history. Roman villas and medieval castles and Victorian mansions. Silver and gold flowers bloomed on the lawns. The grass rippled in rainbow colors. I could hear laughter and smell barbecue cooking. Elysium. In the middle of that valley was a glittering blue lake with 3 small islands like a vacation resort in the Bahamas. The Isle of the Blessed, for people who had chosen to be reborn 3 times, and 3 times achieved Elysium. Immediately, I knew that's where I wanted to go when I died. "That's what it's all about," Annabeth said, like she was reading my thoughts. "That's the place for heroes." But I thought of how few people were in Elysium, how tiny it was compared to the fields of asphodel, or even the fields of punishment. So few people did good in their lives. It was depressing. We left the Judgment Pavilion and moved deeper into the asphodel fields. It got darker. The colors faded from our clothes. The crowds of chattering spirits began to thin. After a few miles of walking, we began to hear a familiar screech in the distance. Looming on the horizon was a palace of glittering black obsidian. Above the parapets swirled 3 dark, bat-like creatures, the Furies. I got the feeling they were waiting for us. "I suppose it's too late to turn back," Grover said wistfully. "We'll be okay." I tried to sound confident. Maybe we should search some of the other places first," Grover suggested. "Like Elysium, for instance." "Come on, goat boy." Annabeth grabbed his arm. Grover yelped. His sneakers sprouted wings and his legs shot forward, pulling him away from Annabeth. He landed flat on his back in the grass. "Grover," Annabeth chided. "Stop messing around." "But I didn't." He yelped again. His shoes were flapping like crazy now. They levitated off the ground and started dragging him away from us. "Maya!" he yelled, but the magic words seemed to have no effect. "Maya already! 911, help!" I got over being stunned and made a grab for Grover's hand, but it was too late. He was picking up speed, skidding downhill like a bobsled. We ran after him. Annabeth shouted, "Untie the shoes!" It was a smart idea, but I guess it's not so easy when your shoes are pulling you along feet first at full speed. Grover tried to sit up, but he couldn't get close to the laces. We kept after him, trying to keep him in sight as he zipped between the legs of spirits who chattered at him in annoyance. I was sure Grover was going to barrel straight through the gates of Hades' palace, but his shoes veered sharply to the right and dragged him in the opposite direction. The slope got steeper. Grover picked up speed. Annabeth and I had to sprint to keep up. The cavern walls narrowed on either side, and I realized we'd entered some kind of side tunnel. No black grass or trees now, just rock underfoot, and the dim light of the stalactites above. "Grover! Grover!" I yelled, my voice echoing. "Hold on to something! To something!" What? He was grabbing at gravel, but there was nothing big enough to slow him down. The tunnel got darker and colder. The hairs on my arms bristled. It smelled evil down here. It made me think of things I shouldn't even know about. Blood spilled on an ancient stone altar. A foul breath of a murder. Then I saw what was ahead of us, and I stopped dead in my tracks. The tunnel widened into a huge dark cavern, and in the middle was a chasm the size of a city block. Grover was sliding straight toward the edge. "Come on, Percy!" Annabeth yelled, tugging at my wrist. "But that's... I know!" she shouted. "The palace, the place you described in your dream. But Grover's going to fall if we don't catch him." She was right, of course. Grover's predicament got me moving again. He was yelling, clawing at the ground, but the winged shoes kept dragging him toward the pit, and it didn't look like we could possibly get to him in time. What saved him were his hooves. The flying sneakers had always been a loose fit on him, and finally Grover hit a big rock, and the left shoe came flying off. It sped into the darkness, down into the chasm. The right shoe kept tugging him along, but not as fast. Grover was able to slow himself down by grabbing on to the big rock and using it like an anchor. He was 10 feet from the edge of the pit when we caught him and hauled him back up the slope. The other winged shoe tugged itself off, circled around us angrily, and kicked our heads in protest before flying off into the chasm to join its twin. We all collapsed, exhausted, on the obsidian gravel. My limbs felt like lead. Even my backpack seemed heavier, as if somebody had filled it with rocks. Grover was scratched up pretty bad. His hands were bleeding. His eyes had gone slit-pupiled, goat style, the way they did whenever he was terrified. "I don't know how," he panted. "I didn't..." "Wait," I said. "Listen." I heard something. A deep whisper in the darkness. Another few seconds and Annabeth said, "Percy, this place..." "Shh." I stood. The sound was getting louder, a muttering. Evil voice from far, far below us, coming from the pit. Grover sat up. What's that noise?" Annabeth heard it too now. I could see it in her eyes. "Tartarus. The entrance to Tartarus." I uncapped on Klusmos. The bronze sword expanded, gleaming in the darkness. And the evil voice seemed to falter, just for a moment, before resuming its chant. I could almost make out the words now. Ancient words. Older even than Greek. As if... "Magic," I said. "We have to get out of here," Annabeth said. Together we dragged Grover to his hooves and started back up the tunnel. My legs wouldn't move fast enough. My backpack weighed me down. The voice got louder and angrier behind us. We broke into a run. Not a moment too soon. A cold blast of wind pulled at our backs, as if the entire pit were inhaling. For a terrifying moment, I lost ground. My feet slipped in the gravel. If we'd been any closer to the edge, we would have been sucked in. We kept struggling forward, and finally reached the top of the tunnel, which the cavern widened out into the fields of asphodel. The wind died. A wail of outrage echoed from deep in the tunnel. Something was not happy we'd gotten away. "What was that?" Grover panted, when we'd collapsed in the relative safety of the black poplar grove. "One of Hades' pets?" Annabeth and I looked at each other. I could tell she was nursing an idea, probably the same one she'd gotten during the taxi ride to L.A., but she was too scared to share it. That, in of itself, was enough to terrify me. I capped my sword, put the pen back in my pocket. "Let's keep going." I looked at Grover. "Can you walk?" He swallowed. "Yeah, sure. I never liked those shoes anyway." He tried to sound brave about it, but he was trembling as badly as Annabeth and I were. Whatever was in that pet was nobody's pet. It was unspeakably old and powerful. Even Echidna hadn't given me that feeling. I was almost relieved to turn my back on that tunnel and head toward the palace of Hades. Almost. The Furies circled the parapets, high in the gloom. The outer walls of the fortress glittered black, and the 2-story tall bronze gates stood wide open. Up close, I saw that the engravings on the gates were scenes of death. Some were from modern times, an atomic bomb exploding over a city, a trench filled with gas masks wearing soldiers, a line of African famine victims waiting with empty bowls. But all of them looked as if they'd been etched into the bronze thousands of years ago. I wondered if I was looking at prophecies that had come true. Inside the courtyard was the strangest garden I'd ever seen. Multicolored mushrooms, poisonous shrubs, and weird luminous plants grew without sunlight. Precious jewels made up for the lack of flowers. Piles of rubies, as big as my fist, clumps of raw diamonds. Standing here and there, like frozen party guests, were Medusa's garden statues. Petrified children, satyrs, and centaurs, all smiling grotesquely. In the center of the garden was an orchard of pomegranate trees, their orange blooms neon bright in the dark. "The garden of Persephone," Annabeth said. "Keep walking." I understood why she wanted to move. The tart smell of those pomegranates were almost overwhelming. I had a sudden desire to eat them, but then I remembered the story of Persephone. One bite of underworld food, and we would never be able to leave. I pulled Grover away to keep him from picking a big juicy one. We walked up the steps of the palace, between black columns, through a black marble portico, and into the house of Hades. The entry hall had a polished bronze floor, which seemed to boil in the reflected torchlight. There was no ceiling, just the cavern roof far above. I guess they never had to worry about rain down here. Every side doorway was guarded by a skeleton in military gear. Some wore Greek armor, some British redcoat uniforms, some camouflage with tattered American flags on the shoulders. They carried spears or muskets or M16s. None of them bothered us, but their hollow eye sockets followed us as we walked down the hall, toward the big set of doors at the opposite end. 2 U.S. Marine skeletons guarded the doors. They grinned down at us, rocket-propelled grenade launchers held across their chests. "You know," Grover mumbled, "I bet Hades doesn't have trouble with door-to-door salesmen." My backpack weighed a ton now. I couldn't figure out why. I wanted to open it, check to see if I had somehow picked up a stray bowling ball, but this wasn't the time. "Well, guys," I said, "I suppose we should... knock?" A hot wind blew down the corridor, and the doors swung open. The guards stepped aside. "I guess this means Entrés Raus," Annabeth said. The room inside looked just like in my dream, except this time, the throne of Hades was occupied. He was the third god I'd met, but the first who really struck me as godlike. He was at least 10 feet tall, for one thing, and dressed in black silk robes and a crown of braided gold. His skin was albino white, his hair shoulder length and jet black. He wasn't bulked up like Ares, but he radiated power. He lounged on his throne of fused human bones, looking lithe, graceful, and dangerous as a panther. I immediately felt like he should be giving the orders. He knew more than I did. He should be my master. Then I told myself to snap out of it. Hades' aura was affecting me, just as Ares had. The Lord of Dead resembled pictures I'd seen of Adolf Hitler, or Napoleon, or the terrorist leaders who direct suicide bombers. Hades had the same intense eyes, the same kind of mesmerizing, evil charisma. "You are brave to come here, son of Poseidon," he said in an oily voice. "After what you have done to me. Very brave indeed. Or perhaps you are simply very foolish." Numbness crept into my joints, tempting me to lie down and just take a little nap at Hades' feet. Curl up here and sleep forever. I fought the feeling and stepped forward. I knew what I had to say. "Lord and Uncle, I come with 2 requests." Hades raised an eyebrow. When he sat forward in his throne, shadowy faces appeared in the folds of his black robe. Faces of torment, as if the garment were stitched of trapped souls from the fields of punishment, trying desperately to get out. The ADHD part of me wondered, off task, whether the rest of his clothes were made the same way. What horrible things would you have to do in your life to get woven into Hades' underwear? "Only 2 requests," Hades said. "Arrogant child. As if you had not already taken enough. Speak then. It amuses me not to strike you dead yet." I swallowed. This was going about as well as I'd feared. I glanced at the empty, smaller throne next to Hades. It was shaped like a black flower, gilded with gold. I wished Queen Persephone were here. I recalled something in the myths about how she could calm her husband's mood. But it was summer. Of course, Persephone would be above in the world of light with her mother, the goddess of agriculture, Demeter. Her visits, not the tilt of the planet, create the seasons. Annabeth cleared her throat. Her finger prodded me in the back. "Lord Hades," I said. "Look, sir, there can't be a war among the gods. It would be bad. Really bad," Grover added helpfully. "Return Zeus's master bolt to me," I said. "Please, sir, let me carry it to Olympus." Hades' eyes grew dangerously bright. "You dare keep up this pretense after what you have done?" I glanced back at my friends. They looked as confused as I was. Uncle," I said, "you keep saying after what you've done. What exactly have I done?" The throne room shook with a tremor so strong, they probably felt it upstairs in Los Angeles. Debris fell from the cavern ceiling. Doors burst open all along the walls, and skeletal warriors marched in, hundreds of them, from every time period and nation in Western civilization. They lined the perimeter of the room, blocking the exits. Hades bellowed, "Do you think I want war, godling?" I wanted to say, well, these guys don't look like peace activists, but I thought that might be a dangerous answer. "You are the Lord of the Dead," I said carefully. "A war would expand your kingdom, right?
A typical thing for my brothers to say. Do you think I need more subjects? Did you not see the sprawl of the asphodel fields? Well, have you any idea how much my kingdom has swollen in the past century alone? How many subdivisions I've had to open?
I opened my mouth to respond, but Hades was on a roll now.
More security goals, he moaned. Traffic problems at the Judgment Pavilion. Double overtime for the staff. I used to be a rich god, Percy Jackson. I control all the precious metals under the earth. But my expenses...
Kayron wanted a pay raise, I blurted, just remembering the fact. As soon as I said it, I wished I could sew up my mouth.
Don't get me started on Kayron,
Hades yelled.
He's been impossible ever since he discovered Italian suits. But problems everywhere, and I've got to handle them all personally. The commute time alone from the palace to the gate is enough to drive me insane. And the dead just keep arriving. No, godling. I need no help getting subjects. I did not ask for this war.
But you took Zeus's master bolt.
Lies!
More rumbling. Hades rose from his throne, towering to the height of a football goalpost.
Your father may fool Zeus, boy, but I am not so stupid. I see his plan.
His plan?
You were the thief on the winter solstice, he said. Your father thought to keep you his little secret. He directed you into the throne room on Olympus. You took the master bolt and my helm. Had I not sent my fury to discover you at Yancy Academy, Poseidon might have succeeded in hiding his scheme to start a war. But now you have been forced into the open. You will be exposed on Poseidon's. You will be exposed as Poseidon's thief. And I will have my helm back.
But Annabeth spoke. I could tell her mind was going 1,000,000 miles an hour. Lord Hades, your helm of darkness is missing too?
Do not play innocent with me, girl. You and the satyr have been helping this hero. Coming here to threaten me in Poseidon's name, no doubt. To bring me an ultimatum. Does Poseidon think I can be blackmailed into supporting him?
No, I said. Poseidon didn't. I didn't.
I have said nothing of the helm's disappearance, Hades snarled, because I had no illusions that anyone on Olympus would offer me the slightest justice, the slightest help. I can ill afford for word to get out that my most powerful weapon of fear is missing. So I searched for you myself. And when it was clear you were coming to me to deliver your threat, I did not try to stop you.
You didn't try to stop us? But...
Return my helm now, or I will stop death,
Hades threatened.
That is my counter-proposal. I will open the earth and have the dead pour back into the world. I will make your lands a nightmare. And you, Percy Jackson, your skeleton will lead my army out of Hades. The skeletal soldiers all took one step forward, making their weapons ready. At that point, I probably should have been terrified. The strange thing was, I felt offended. Nothing gets me angrier than being accused of something I didn't do. I've had a lot of experience with that. "You're as bad as Zeus," I said. "You think I stole from you? That's why you sent the Furies after me?" "Of course," Hades said. "And the other monsters?" Hades curled his lip. "I had nothing to do with them. I wanted no quick death for you. I wanted you brought before me alive, so you might face every torture in the fields of punishment. Why do you think I let you enter my kingdom so easily?"
"Easily?
"Return my property."
But I don't have your helm. I came for the Master Bolt."
"Which you already possess," Hades shouted. "You came here with it, little fool, thinking you could threaten me."
"But I didn't."
"Open your pack, then."
A horrible feeling struck me. The weight in my backpack, like a bowling ball. It couldn't be. I slung it off my shoulder and unzipped it. Inside was a 2-foot-long metal cylinder, spiked on both ends, humming with energy. "Percy," Annabeth said, "how? I don't know. I don't understand."
"You heroes are always the same," Hades said. "Your pride makes you foolish. Thinking you could bring such a weapon before me. I did not ask for Zeus's Master Bolt. But since it is here, you will yield it to me. I am sure it will make an excellent bargaining tool. And now, my helm. Where is it?"
I was speechless. I had no helm. I had no idea how the Master Bolt had gotten into my backpack. I wanted to think Hades was pulling some kind of trick. Hades was the bad guy, but suddenly the world turned sideways. I realized I'd been played with. Zeus, Poseidon, and Hades had been set at each other's throats by someone else. The Master Bolt had been in the backpack, and I'd gotten the backpack from... "Lord Hades, wait," I said. "This is all a mistake."
"A mistake?"
Hades roared. The skeletons aimed their weapons. From high above, there was a fluttering of leathery wings, and the 3 Furies swooped down to perch on the back of their master's throne. The one with Mrs. Dodds' face grinned at me eagerly and flicked her whip.
"There is no mistake," Hades said. "I know why you have come. I know the real reason you brought the bolt. You came to bargain for her."
Hades loosed a ball of golden fire from his palm. It exploded on the steps in front of me, and there was my mother, frozen in a shower of gold, just as she was at the moment when the Minotaur began to squeeze her to death. I couldn't speak. I reached out to touch her, but the light was as hot as a bonfire.
"Yes," Hades said with satisfaction. "I took her. I knew, Percy Jackson, that you would come to bargain with me eventually. Return my helm, and perhaps I will let her go. She is not dead, you know. Not yet. But if you displease me, that will change."
I thought about the pearls in my pocket. Maybe they could get me out of this? If I could just get my mom free.
Ah, the pearls, Hades said, and my blood froze. Yes, my brother and his little tricks. Bring them forth, Percy Jackson. My hand moved against my will and brought out the pearls. Only 3, Hades said. What a shame. You do realize each one protects a single person. Try to take your mother then, little godling. And which of your friends will you leave behind to spend eternity with me? Go on. Choose. Or give me the backpack and accept my terms. I looked at Annabeth and Grover. Their faces were grim. We were tricked, I told them. Set up. Yes, but why? Annabeth said. And the voice in the pit? I don't know yet, I said, but I intend to ask. Decide, boy, Hades yelled. Percy, Grover put his hand on my shoulder. You can't give him the bolt. I know that. Leave me here. Leave me here, he said. Use the 3rd pearl on your mom. No! I'm a satyr, Grover said. We don't have souls like humans do. He can torture me until I die, but he won't get me forever. I'll just be reincarnated as a flower or something. It's the best way. No. Annabeth drew her bronze knife. You two go on. Grover, you have to protect Percy. You have to get your searcher's license and start your quest for Pan. Get his mom out of here. I'll cover you. I plan to go down fighting. No way, Grover said. I'm staying behind. Think again, goat boy, Annabeth said. Stop it, both of you. I felt like my heart was being ripped in two. They had both been with me through so much. I remembered Grover dive-bombing Medusa in the statue garden, and Annabeth saving us from Cerberus. We survived Hephaestus's Waterland ride, the St. Louis Arch, the Lotus Casino. I'd spent thousands of miles worried that I'd be betrayed by a friend, but these friends would never do that. They had done nothing but save me, over and over. And now they wanted to sacrifice their lives for my mom. I know what to do, I said. Take these. I handed them each a pearl. Annabeth said, But Percy... I turned and faced my mother. I desperately wanted to sacrifice myself and use the last pearl on her, but I knew what she would say. She would never allow it. I had to get the bolt back to Olympus and tell Zeus the truth. I had to stop the war. She would never forgive me if I saved her instead. I thought about the prophecy made at Half-Blood Hill, what seemed like 1,000,000 years ago. You will fail to save what matters most in the end. I'm sorry, I told her. I'll be back. I'll find a way. The smug look on Hades' face faded. He said, Godling. I'll find your helm, Uncle, I told him. I'll return it. Remember about Charon's pay raise. Do not defy me. And it wouldn't hurt you to play with Cerberus once in a while. He likes red rubber balls. Percy Jackson, you will not! I shouted. Now, guys! We smashed the pearls at our feet. For a scary moment, nothing happened. Hades yelled, Destroy them! The army of skeletons rushed forward, swords out, guns clicking to full automatic. The Furies lunged, their whips bursting into flame. Just as the skeletons opened fire, the pearl fragments at my feet exploded with a burst of green light and a gust of fresh sea wind. I was encased in a milky white sphere, which was starting to float off the ground. Annabeth and Grover were right behind me. Spears and bullets sparked harmlessly off the pearl bubbles as we floated. Hades yelled with such rage, the entire fortress shook, and I knew it was not going to be a peaceful night in L.A. "Look up!" Grover yelled. "We're going to crash!" Sure enough, we were racing right toward the stalactites, which I figured would pop our bubbles and skewer us. "How do you control these things?" Annabeth shouted. "I don't think you do," I shouted back. We screamed as the bubbles slammed into the ceiling, and darkness. We were dead? No. I could still feel the racing sensation. We were going up, right through solid rock, as easily as an air bubble in the water. That was the power of the pearls, I realized. What belongs to the sea will always return to the sea. For a few moments, I couldn't see anything outside the smooth walls of my sphere. Then, my pearl broke through the ocean floor. The two other milky spheres, Annabeth and Grover, kept pace with me as we soared upward through the water. And, kerblam! We exploded on the surface, in the middle of the Santa Monica Bay, knocking a surfer off his board with an indignant, "Dude!" I grabbed Grover and hauled him over to a life buoy. I caught Annabeth and dragged her over too. A curious shark was circling us, a great white, about 11 feet long. I said, "Beat it." The shark turned and raced away. The surfer screamed something about bad mushrooms and paddled away from us as fast as he could. Somehow, I knew what time it was. Early morning, June 21st, the day of the summer solstice. In the distance, Los Angeles was on fire, plumes of smoke rising from neighborhoods all over the city. There had been an earthquake, all right, and it was Hades' fault. He was probably sending an army of dead after me right now. But at the moment, the underworld wasn't my biggest problem. I had to get to shore. I had to get Zeus's thunderbolt back to Olympus. Most of all, I had to have a serious conversation with the god who tricked me. Oh man, that's pretty darn good. It appears we lost quite a few folks though. I wasn't paying attention, I was reading, so I didn't quite see when they shoved off, but hope they at least caught some of that chapter. It was an intense one. I remember that one. Hades is an imposing figure. I hope I did him justice. Monkas? Monkas. Yes, indeed. Whew. Well, Coleman, I believe it's just you and me, dude. Let's see. My thoughts on that chapter. It was a longer one, certainly. But it was good. I mean, the encounter with the pit that leads to Tartarus. I know, Coleman. Oh, hey! Sick.
Yo, I know, right? How they gonna make it? They have till the end of the day, right? And man, that reveal, that subtle, man, my backpack's suddenly heavier. What the heck? No time to worry about that. That's probably nothing. What? No time to check on that. It's dumb. Shoot, man. And that I think honestly, in this chapter, there's a few moments that I could spell as my favorite. But the moment where he sees his mom, hears both of his friends willing to risk it all and put all of their own dreams to the wayside and sacrifice themselves, and then deciding to, instead of doing what he truly came there for, do what he felt was the right thing. And it was due to his, and the ironic thing is, it was due to his mother's teachings, like his mother, like how he was raised. Man. Well, my emotional baggage is acting up again. Backpack's getting heavy, man. Yeah, the moment with the pit was definitely cool. I think meeting 80s for the first time in general, that whole scene is incredible. Did anyone expect I don't know. Did anyone not expect what the pearls would do? I definitely didn't. I just knew that the pearls did something incredible and miraculous, but I forgot that they literally just bubble up and float back to the sea. I think that's kind of cute and clever. That was good though. Do you guys feel I'm curious, did you guys feel, because as I said, Hades is an imposing figure. Did I do him justice? I was worried that his voice might be a little close to what Ares's was. But I felt it was appropriate to give him that same kind of grim or gruff voice, but with a little more like proper speech to it. You know, I think Ares had a little more of like a almost, was it Scottish or Irish like tint to it. A couple of like oddities where he says yeah instead of you, things like that. But I think I got the differences down. Whew. I felt that chapter flowed pretty nicely. When it comes to how I read, I'm working on not taking quite as many, pauses and breaks. Yeah. It's kind of like if Chiron got real angry, got pissed. Or if Chiron, was just perpetually peeved. Yeah. No doubt about it. I miss Chiron. I'm glad they mentioned his raise. Honest to goodness, I'm very glad about that. I would have been real sad if they hadn't. Whew. Chiron, the perpetually peeved pony. I like that. Nice. Oh, sweet. I think I'm definitely gonna need that 5-minute break. That one was intense. Had a lot of gruff voices and loud, or shouting and whatnot. Whew. Right on. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed. Did you have a favorite part from that chapter? I also like the little detail of how the skeletal warriors come from every generation, or like impactful generation from uh the Western world. I like that. Yeah, yeah, that too, man. He mentioned uh he mentioned the Rays, and he mentioned that he needs to play with Cerberus. That's good stuff. The description of the castle, or when they entered it, or the scene within the castle? Uh, all of it. Yes, yes to all. Heck yeah. Yeah, even the depiction of the castle is really cool. It's got like a real imposing gothic nature to it. I mean, an obsidian fortress. And I'm trying to remember, did it say that the walls go all the way up to like the ceiling, like the cavern ceiling, or is it just that the roof is open and you can see the cavernous ceiling above? Sparkling obsidian. Sparkling obsidian. Yeah, it sounds oddly beautiful. The void crystallized. Yeah, I can dig that. Well, it's about 7:40. Um, so let's take a 5-minute break here, and I'll be back by no later than 7:46. Sound good? Sound snizzy snazzy. Goodity good. Yeah, it did sound real neat. I'd love to see some like illustrations of people who have like depicted that. That'd be a neat thing to draw from. Like if I was a good like digital illustrator, um, I'd find that to be like a sick inspiration for a landscape illustration. That'd be sweet. Well, okay, guys. Like I said, 7:41 now. So I will be back at no later than 7:46. I love you, my wildflowers, and I'm excited for chapter 20. Holy heck. This is a big one to leave off on. Will they make it there in time? Will Zeus even understand? Find out very soon. Alright, go get up and stretch, get yourself some water, take some deep breaths, and get ready for the next part of the journey. I'll see you at no later than 7:47. Much love. All right, welcome back. How's everybody doing? Hope you guys got a chance to get up and stretch and take a deep breath, get yourself some water, all that good stuff. I know I did. Tristan killing skills. Hey Mandrew, really enjoying the stream. Thanks Tristan, I appreciate it, dude. Are you planning on joining us wildflowers? I would definitely enjoy your presence. Yeah, did you get a chance to hear a bit of chapter 19? That was a sick one. Mandrolian. Heck yeah. Oh hey, what's up Claudia? Oh heck yeah. What's up Victor? How you doing, dude? What's shaking? Bacon. Man, hope you guys are doing good, in all honesty. I'm gonna be playing Ape, but I'm coming back. Don't read fast. Okay, I'll be sure to take my time. Don't you worry. Read this as a kid. Super excited. That's good, man. I found that one thing that I've really been loving about this stream is that I know for Keaton and I, it's been bringing back these memories of when we first came across this book and when we first read these pages, and to bring back that nostalgia is a really cool thing. I didn't. It was something that when I started this, I didn't expect to find, but I'm really glad that I did. Well, sweet man, we've got a nice little crowd of wildflowers here. I'm so happy you guys made it. I'll take this chance to remind you guys that tomorrow the stream is going to be starting at 9 o'clock. We're going to be doing Freaky Friday. Where we'll be reading horror stories and various spooky tales. We got some really good ones on the docket, and I've been doing actually some work on some surprises as to the background and junk. So I'm hoping you guys will be there, because I know I will. Alright, let's bring back Reed and Snoopy. Sorry, no more jamming, Snoopy. Gotta chill. It's reading time. Alright. Well, let's jump on in. So, last we left off, our heroes daringly escaped from the underworld. Percy leaving his mom behind, promising that he'd make it back and be there again one day to retrieve her. And now they have a little bit of time, about 24 hours, less than 24 hours to make it to Olympus. They are in Los Angeles. They got to make it to New York in a day. How will they do it? Will they do it at all? Let's find out. Alrighty. Chapter 20. I battle my jerk relative. A Coast Guard boat picked us up, but they were too busy to keep us for long, or to wonder how 3 kids in street clothes had gotten out into the middle of the bay. There was a disaster to mop up. Their radios were jammed with distress calls. They dropped us off at Santa Monica Pier with towels around our shoulders and water bottles that said, "I'm a junior Coast Guard," and sped off to save more people. Our clothes were sopping wet, even mine. When the Coast Guard boat had appeared, I'd silently prayed they wouldn't pick me out of the water and find me perfectly dry, which might have raised some eyebrows. So I'd willed myself to get soaked. Sure enough, my usual waterproof magic had abandoned me. I was also barefoot, because I'd given my shoes to Grover. Better the Coast Guard wonder why one of us was barefoot than wonder why one of us had hooves. After reaching dry land, we stumbled down the beach, watching the city burn against a beautiful sunrise. I felt as if I'd just come back from the dead, which I had. My backpack was heavy with Zeus's master bolt. My heart was even heavier from seeing my mother. "I don't believe it," Annabeth said. "We went all that way." "It was a trick," I said. "A strategy worthy of Athena." "Hey," she warned. "You get it, don't you?" She dropped her eyes, her anger fading. "Yeah, I get it." "Well, I don't," Grover complained. "Would somebody—" "Percy," Annabeth said. "I'm sorry about your mother. I'm so sorry." I pretended not to hear her. If I talked about my mother, I was going to start crying like a little kid. "The prophecy was right," I said. "You shall go west and face the god who has turned." But it wasn't Hades. Hades didn't want war among the big 3. Somebody else pulled off the theft. Someone stole Zeus's master bolt and Hades' helm, and framed me because I'm Poseidon's kid. Poseidon will get blamed by both sides. By sundown today, there will be a 3-way war, and all have caused it. Grover shook his head, mystified. But who would be that sneaky? Who would want war that bad? I stopped in my tracks, looking down the beach. Gee, let me think. There he was, waiting for us, in his black leather duster and his sunglasses, an aluminum baseball bat propped on his shoulder. His motorcycle rumbled beside him, its headlight turning the sand red.
Hey, kid,
Aries said, seeming genuinely pleased to see me.
You were supposed to die.
You tricked me, I said. You stole the helm and the Master Bolt. Aries grinned.
Well, now, I didn't steal them personally. Gods taking each other symbols of power, that's a big no-no. But you're not the only hero in the world who can run errands.
Who did you use? Clarice? She was there at the winter solstice. The idea seemed to amuse him.
Doesn't matter. The point is, kid, you're impeding the war effort. You've got to die in the underworld. Then old Seaweed will be mad at Hades for killing you. Corpse Breath will have Zeus's Master Bolt, so Zeus will be mad at him. And Hades is still looking for this.
From his pocket, he took out a ski cap, the kind bank robbers wear, and placed it between the handlebars of his bike. Immediately, the cap transformed into an elaborate bronze war helmet. The Helm of Darkness, Grover gasped.
Exactly,
Ares said.
Now where was I? Oh yeah, Hades will be mad at both Zeus and Poseidon, because he doesn't know who took this. Pretty soon, got a nice little three-way slugfest going.
But they're your family, Annabeth protested. Ares shrugged.
Best kind of war. Always the bloodiest. Nothing like watching your relatives fight, I always say.
You gave me the backpack in Denver, I said. The Master Bolt was in there the whole time.
Yes, and no,
Ares said.
It's probably too complicated for your little mortal brain to follow, but the backpack is the Master Bolt's sheath. Just morphed a bit. The bolt is connected to it. Sort of like that sword you got, kid. It always returns to your pocket, right?
I wasn't sure how Ares knew about that, but I guess a god of war had to make it his business to know about weapons.
Anyway,
Ares continued,
I tinkered with the magic a bit, so the bolt would only return to the sheath once you reach the underworld. You get close to Hades, bingo, you got mail. If you died along the way, no loss. I still had the weapon.
But why not just keep the Master Bolt for yourself? I said. Why send it to Hades? Ares got a twitch in his jaw. For a moment, it was almost as if he were listening to another voice, deep inside his head.
Why didn't I? Yeah. With that kind of firepower.
He held the trance for 1 second. 2 seconds. I exchanged nervous looks with Annabeth. Ares' face cleared.
I didn't want the trouble. Better to have you caught red-handed, holding the thing.
You're lying, I said. Sending the bolt to the underworld wasn't your idea, was it?
Of course it was.
Smoke drifted from his sunglasses, as if they were about to catch fire. You didn't order the theft, I guessed. Someone else sent a hero to steal the 2 items. Then, when Zeus sent you to hunt him down, you caught the thief. But you didn't turn him over to Zeus. Something convinced you to let him go. You kept the items until another hero could come along and complete the delivery. That thing in the pit was ordering you around.
I am the god of war. I take orders from no one. I don't have dreams.
I hesitated. Who said anything about dreams? Ares looked agitated, but he tried to cover it with a smirk.
Let's get back to the problem at hand, kid. You're alive. I can't have you taking that bolt to Olympus. You just might get those hard-headed idiots to listen to you. So I've got to kill you. Nothing personal.
He snapped his fingers. The sand exploded at his feet, and out charged a wild boar, even larger and uglier than the one whose head hung above the door of Cabin 7 at Camp Half-Blood. The beast pawed the sand, glaring at me with beady eyes as it lowered its razor-sharp tusks and waited for the command to kill. I stepped into the surf. "Fight me yourself, Ares." He laughed, but I heard a little edge to his laughter, an uneasiness.
You've got one talent, kid. Running away. You ran from the Chimera. You ran from the underworld. You don't have what it takes.
Scared?
In your adolescent dreams.
But his sunglasses were starting to melt from the heat of his eyes.
No direct involvement. Sorry, kid. You're not at my level.
Annabeth said, "Percy, run!" The giant boar charged, but I was done running from monsters, or Hades, or Ares, or anybody. As the boar rushed me, I uncapped my pen and sidestepped. Riptide appeared in my hands. I slashed upward. The boar's severed right tusk fell at my feet, while the disoriented animal charged into the sea. I shouted, "Wave!" Immediately, a wave surged up from nowhere and engulfed the boar, wrapping around it like a blanket. The beast squealed once in terror. Then it was gone, swallowed by the sea. I turned back to Ares. "Are you going to fight me now?" I asked. "Or are you going to hide behind another pet pig?" Ares' face was purple with rage.
Watch it, kid. I could turn you into...
"A cockroach," I said. "Or a tapeworm. Yeah, I'm sure. That'd save you from getting your godly hide whipped, wouldn't it?" Flames danced along the top of his glasses.
Oh man, you are really asking to be smashed into grease.
If I lose, turn me into anything you want. Take the bolt. If I win, the helm and the bolt are mine. And you have to go away. Ares sneered. He swung the baseball bat off his shoulder.
How would you like to get smashed? Classic or modern?
I showed him my sword.
That's cool, dead boy,
he said.
Classic it is.
The baseball bat changed into a huge two-handed sword. The hilt was a large silver skull with a ruby in its mouth. "Percy," Annabeth said, "don't do this. He's a god." "He's a coward," I told her. She swallowed. "Wear this, at least, for luck." She took off her necklace with her 5 years' worth of camp beads and the ring from her father, and tied it around my neck. "Reconciliation," she said. "Athena and Poseidon together." My face felt a little warm, but I managed a smile. "Thanks." "And take this," Grover said. He handed me a flattened tin can that he'd probably been saving in his pocket for 1,000 miles.
"The satyr's staying behind you."
Grover, I don't know what to say. He patted me on the shoulder. I stuffed the tin can in my back pocket.
"You all done saying goodbye?"
Ares came toward me, his black leather duster trailing behind him, his sword glinting like fire in the sunrise.
"I've been fighting for eternity, kid. My strength is unlimited, and I cannot die. What have you got?"
A smaller ego, I thought, but I said nothing. I kept my feet in the surf, backing into the water up to my ankles. I thought back to what Annabeth had said at the Denver diner so long ago. Ares has strength. That's all he has. Even strength has to bow to wisdom sometimes. He cleaved downward at my head, but I wasn't there. My body thought for me. The water seemed to push me into the air as I catapulted over him, slashing as I came down. But Ares was just as quick. He twisted, and the strike that should have caught him directly in the spine was deflected off the end of his sword hilt. He grinned.
"Not bad. Not bad."
He slashed again, and I was forced to jump onto dry land. I tried to sidestep, to get back to the water, but Ares seemed to know that was what I wanted. He outmaneuvered me, pressing so hard, I had to put all my concentration on not getting sliced into pieces. I kept backing away from the surf. I couldn't find any openings to attack. His sword had a reach several feet longer than on a Klusmos. "Get in close," Luke had told me once, back in our sword class. "When you've got the shoulder blade, get in close." I stepped inside with a thrust, but Ares was waiting for that. He knocked my blade out of my hands and kicked me in the chest. I went airborne, 20, maybe 30 feet. I would have broken my back if I hadn't crashed into the soft sand of the dune. "Percy!" Annabeth yelled. "Cops!" I was seeing double. My chest felt like it had just been hit with a battering ram, but I managed to get to my feet. I couldn't look away from Ares, for fear he'd slice me in half, but out of the corner of my eye, I saw red lights flashing on the shoreline boulevard. Car doors were slamming. "There, officer!" somebody yelled. "See?" A gruff cop voice.
"Looks like that kid on TV. What the heck?"
"That guy's armed," another cop said. "Call for backup." I rolled to one side as Ares' blade slashed the sand. I ran for my sword, scooped it up, and launched a swipe at Ares' face, only to find my blade deflected again. Ares seemed to know exactly what I was going to do the moment before I did it. I stepped back toward the surf, forcing him to follow.
"Admit it, kid,"
Ares said.
"You got no hope. I'm just toying with you."
My senses were working overtime. I now understood what Annabeth had said about ADHD keeping you alive in battle. I was wide awake, noticing every little detail. I could see where Ares was tensing. I could tell which way he would strike. At the same time, I was aware of Annabeth and Grover, 30 feet to my left. I saw a second cop car pulling up, siren wailing. Spectators. People who had been wandering the streets because of the earthquake were starting to gather. Among the crowd, I thought I saw a few who were walking with the strange, trotting gait of disguised satyrs. They were shimmering forms of spirits, too, as if the dead had risen from Hades to watch the battle. I heard the flap of leathery wings circling somewhere above. More sirens. I stepped further into the water, but Ares was fast. The tip of his blade ripped my sleeve and grazed my forearm. A police voice on a megaphone said,
Drop the guns! Set them down on the ground, now!
Guns? I looked at Ares' weapon, and it seemed to be flickering sometimes. Sometimes it looked like a shotgun, sometimes a two-handed sword. I didn't know what the humans were seeing in my hands, but I was pretty sure it wouldn't make them like me. Ares turned to glare at our spectators, which gave me a moment to breathe. There were 5 police cars now, and a line of officers crouching behind them, pistols trained on us.
This is a private matter,
Ares bellowed.
Be gone!
He swept his hand, and a wall of red flame rolled across the patrol cars. The police barely had time to dive for cover before the vehicles exploded. The crowd behind them scattered, screaming. Ares roared with laughter.
Now, little hero, let's add you to the barbecue.
He slashed. I deflected his blade. I got close enough to strike. Tried to fake him out with a feint, but my blow was knocked aside. The waves were hitting me in the back now. Ares was up to his thighs, wading in after me. I felt the rhythm of the sea, the waves growing larger as the tide rolled in. And suddenly, I had an idea. Little waves, I thought. Pardon me. Little waves, I thought, and the water behind me seemed to recede. I was holding back the tide by force of will, but tension was building, like carbonation behind a cork. Ares came toward, grinning confidently. I lowered my blade, as if I were too exhausted to go on. Wait for it, I told the sea. The pressure now was almost lifting me off my feet. Ares raised his sword. I released the tide and jumped, rocketing straight over Ares on a wave. A 6-foot wall of water smashed him full in the face, leaving him cursing and sputtering with a mouth full of seaweed. I landed behind him with a splash, feinted towards his head as I'd done before. He turned in time to raise his sword, but this time he was disoriented. He didn't anticipate the trick. I changed direction, lunged to his side, and stabbed Riptide straight down into the water, sending the point through the god's heel. The roar that followed made Hades' earthquake look like a minor event. The very sea was blasted back from Ares, leaving a wet circle of sand 50 feet wide. Ichor, the golden blood of the gods, flowed from a gash in the war god's boot. The expression on his face was beyond hatred. It was pain, shock, complete disbelief that he'd been wounded. He limped toward me, muttering ancient Greek curses. Something stopped him. It was as if a cloud covered the sun, but worse. Light faded. Sound and color drained away. A cold, heavy presence passed over the beach, slowing time, dropping the temperature to freezing, making me feel like life was hopeless. Fighting was useless. The darkness lifted. Ares looked stunned. Police cars were burning behind us. The crowd of spectators had fled. Annabeth and Grover stood on the beach in shock, watching the water flood back around Ares' feet, his glowing golden ichor dissipating in the tide. Ares lowered his sword.
You have made an enemy, godling, he told me. You have sealed your fate. Every time you raise your blade in battle, every time you hope for success, you will feel my curse. Beware, Percy Jackson. Beware.
His body began to glow. "Percy!" Annabeth shouted. "Don't watch!" I turned away as the god Ares revealed his true immortal form. I somehow knew that if I looked, I would disintegrate into ashes. The light died. I looked back. Ares was gone. The tide rolled out to reveal Hades' bronze helm of darkness. I picked it up and walked toward my friends. But before I got there, I heard the flapping of leathery wings. 3 evil-looking grandmothers with lace hats and fiery whips drifted down from the sky and landed in front of me. The middle Fury, the one who had been Mrs. Dodds, stepped forward. Her fangs were bared, but for once, she didn't look threatening. She looked more disappointed, as if she'd been planning to have me for supper, but had decided I might give her indigestion. "We saw the whole thing," she hissed. "So, it truly was not you?" I tossed her the helmet, which she caught in surprise. "Return that to Lord Hades," I said. "Tell him the truth. Tell him to call off the war." She hesitated, then ran a forked tongue over her green, leathery lips. "Live well, Percy Jackson. Become a true hero. Because if you do not, if you ever come into my clutches again..." She cackled, savoring the idea. Then she and her sisters rose on their bat wings, fluttered into the smoke-filled sky, and disappeared. I joined Grover and Annabeth, who were staring at me in amazement. "Percy," Grover said, "that was so incredibly terrifying," said Annabeth. "Cool," Grover corrected. I didn't feel terrified. I certainly didn't feel cool. I was tired and sore and completely drained of energy. "Did you guys feel that? Whatever it was," I asked. They both nodded uneasily. "Must have been the Furies overhead," Grover said. But I wasn't so sure. Something had stopped Ares from killing me, and whatever could do that was a lot stronger than the Furies. I looked at Annabeth, and an understanding passed between us. I knew now what was in that pit, what had spoken from the entrance of Tartarus. I reclaimed my backpack from Grover and looked inside. The Master Bolt was still there. Such a small thing to almost cause World War III. "We have to get back to New York," I said. "By tonight." "That's impossible," Annabeth said. "Unless we..." "Fly," I agreed. She stared at me. "Fly like in an airplane, which you were warned never to do, lest Zeus strike you out of the sky, and carry a weapon that has more destructive power than a nuclear bomb?" "Yeah," I said. "Pretty much exactly like that. Come on." What a battle. Man, the added tension with the police cars coming in, and Ares raising a hand and blowing them all to sunder. I'm surprised the cops all survived, to be honest, and all the bystanders. I guess even the war god has like a conscience not to kill mortals? Heck yeah, dude. You came in at a good time. These 2 chapters were sick. I'm not even joking, man. These 2 chapters were sick. Sick AF. I agree, Vic. Man. Tristan, did you make it back in time? I do apologize. That one was a bit more, intense, or I don't know, it had more of a rapid pace, you know, with all the excitement and battle and such. I forget if I'd given Ares a gruff, like, Scottish or Irish voice, but I definitely switched it to, maybe I did do like country last time, but if not, this time I definitely switched it to like gruff and deep, angry Southern. Crazy cool stuff. I agree. That was sweet. Whew. Let's see. Favorite part of that chapter, I think it's just the initial recognition that Ares was there. You know, that moment that they say, "Oh, I got a Zoom meeting, I got a scoop, but I'm glad I got to hear the whole chapter. Later, Mitch boy me Bob." Oh, well, later, Keaton. Take care, and enjoy the Zoom meeting, eh? No, honest to goodness, thank you for joining, and I hope to see you at 9 tomorrow for some spooky tales. Nice. But yeah, that initial moment when he says, you know, it wasn't Hades at all. It was... And then he turns and sees the darn guy right in front of him. Sweet, man. I was hoping so. We got some good stories in store, I believe. Some H.P. Lovecraft, some H.G. Wells is on Saturday. My bad. Trying to remember the other author. Don't got it off the noggin, sadly. That was so freaking cool. Man, Percy is 13. Right? Or 12? Percy's 12, I think. This whole time. If I was 12 years old, could I have battled God? I think not. I guess if I was the son of the sea god, maybe. But that just occurred to me. He's 12 years old. 12. That's wild. He's had to grow up pretty quick, huh? Whew. Well, guys, any favorite moments from the two chapters we read? Chapters 19 and 20. Guys, next time, Sunday, is the finale. We have but 2 chapters left. Look at that. Just this little bit at the end there. Heck yeah. I feel like I ought to like get something to celebrate. Like smoothie? Maybe? Smoothie? Smoothie sounds good. Or I don't know. Maybe I can run out and get like some of those like celebration popper dealios. Sadly, I can't do fireworks inside. That would be bad. Well, sweet. Man, I'm actually really glad you made it, Vic. And Claudia, you too. That was sweet. I think by the end of chapters like this, I feel kind of like I feel riled, you know, because I try to empathize with the people in the story, and so that when I speak the lines, it at least comes out feeling genuine, feeling from the place that they're coming from. And so by the end of something like this, where I'm switching back and forth between an angry but determined Percy and a rage-filled war god, by the end of it, I'm a little exacerbated, I think. Here, let me throw on, yeah, throw on some of this relaxing Zelda music. Yeah, that's better. Whew. Nice. I'm excited. I'm sad we have to wait 2 days till the finale, but I think it's appropriate. I thought about making tonight a super long stream and doing the finale tonight so we could start a new with the new book on Sunday. But I think finishing on Sunday and then starting the new book on Monday, it's a good plan. Oh, and next week, I do apologize, my schedule is going to change again. I'll be able to do 6 o'clock on Mondays, I believe. My workouts will now be on Tuesday and Thursday, so it will be switching. The 8 o'clock starting time will be switching to Tuesdays and Thursdays. So basically just swap what is now Monday and Wednesday schedule with Tuesday and Thursday. I know, confusing, but I'll do my best to update the schedule down below. And I think on Sundays I'll also I'll make a spot in the Discord for schedule, that way I can post the schedule there for each week. Put, hey, this is the week it's for, this is what I'm going to be doing each day, so everybody can plan and make their way here if they so choose. Maybe I can do that for my other platforms as well. At the beginning of the week, post the same schedule to Tumblr and Instagram, Discord, and maybe YouTube. As you can just post things to YouTube now, I think. Not just videos. You can post little updates or pictures or simply just text. Which I think was clever and actually a good idea on YouTube's part. I like that they added that. Been seeing a few J Schlatt memes. Don't know if you guys know who J Schlatt is, but they're pretty goofy. Well, guys, this was a darn nice stream, and I'm grateful so many people showed up. That was really cool, and looking forward to tomorrow. I think I'm gonna start wrapping up. Thanks for the love, Coleman. Mwah. 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 I send my love right back at you. Yeah, I think I'm gonna start wrapping up. Thank you all for coming. Stay bright, stay beautiful, my wildflowers. And I'll be seeing you tomorrow at 9. Right on. Let me start up the reprise. Hey, yeah, good to see you too, Vic. And remember, the weekend, 9 o'clock, both Friday and Saturday. On Fridays, we do Freaky Friday with some horror stories. And on Sci-Fi Saturday, we do sci-fi short stories. This week is going to feature H.G. Wells, and, Lovecraft and peeps like that. Looking forward to it. I pray I'll see y'all there. Much love, and be sure to get a good night's rest tonight. Bye! Bye!